Hey everyone, it's Allison and welcome back to another makeup tutorial. Last week I had a poll up on social media asking what you guys wanted to see, and your choices were between how to use highlighter and how to cover dark circles. And it was pretty close, but the winner ended up being how to cover up dark circles. And believe me, I know a lot about that. Yeah. So, before we get started with that video, I will let you know this is going to be a shorter one, I promise. I'm sorry about the 30-minute video. And also, I have a sad story to tell. So I've had to live with dark circles for my entire life. I was born with them. I grew up with them. I have fought with them. And I have tried really hard to cover them up. As a child, I was the kid that would come to school perfectly healthy and so excited to learn, and my teacher comes up to me and I'm thinking they're gonna go, "Good morning, Allison. Wow, you look so great today. Are you ready to learn?" And instead they go, "Wow, Allison, you don't look so good. I'm gonna send you to the nurse's office." Okay. But I was never sick. Seriously, I'm not kidding you. And this is what I looked like. So yeah, I do look sickly, don't I? So when I finally was old enough to wear makeup, it was concealer time. And I tried really, really hard to cover up those dark circles so teachers and other people would stop telling me that I looked like I was dead. Although I guess I could have been a really good zombie without any makeup on for Halloween. Why didn't I try that? That's a good idea. So, today we are going to be talking about how to cover up those pesky dark circles, and trust me, I have been working on this for many, many years. So hopefully I'm an expert by now. Before we actually put any concealer on though, we need to know how to counteract the darkness under here. And first of all, if you have eyes like mine, I have what are called deep set eyes. So that means that they're actually inward into my skull more than outward. Some people, they're on the surface. If you have deep set eyes like me, you're gonna have a shadow that's created by the brow bone. Yeah, because like if I tilt my head back, you can see the dark circles. But then when I tilt it forward, see how I've created a shadow? Yeah, you can't really get rid of the shadow, unfortunately. Just the dark circles. That's what we're gonna focus on. However, there is a shade range that you can use. For instance, if you have rosacea or you have those pesky pimples that are red, you're gonna wanna use green because it's the opposite color. And when you put that on there and then blend it out and have foundation on top of it, it's going to lessen or completely get rid of the presence of redness on the face. Super cool. So when we have dark circles, those are usually more of a purpley shade. You can tell, they're more purple. So for purple, we're gonna use yellow to counteract it. And again, once you blend it out and use foundation and you know, it's not gonna look like you just slapped a highlighter on your face, okay? Now, if you go to the drugstore, you're usually gonna find a shade range, but you might not find a tone range. And what I mean by a tone range is usually the major makeup brands for concealers are gonna have 3 different tones. They're gonna have a pink tone, a neutral tone, and a yellow tone. Sometimes they'll call it warm versus cool tones, but what we want is the yellow tone. Now, if you're like me, you might want to get 2 different kinds and get a neutral and also a yellow. But mainly what I have is the yellow tone in order to get rid of the darkness. Pretty cool. I'm going to try and insert a video here of how this might look if you go on a website. So I'll have what it looks like if you're shopping on tartcosmetics.com. So you can see what I mean by choosing the tone as well as your correct shade. Alright, so right now I'm on tartcosmetics.com and just showing you the different shades of the concealers. So we've got our pink undertone, we have a neutral shade, and we have the yellow tone. And then if you scroll down, you can actually see that every single one has something like that. Like the light has 3 different tones, and then it just keeps going downward from there. But the one that we want to choose is going to be the yellow tone for the dark circles, which is that one right there. Alright, so before I actually show you any products and do any of that stuff, I'm going to be doing the rest of my makeup off camera because I do concealer and all of that stuff after I've done foundation and eyes and all of that. So I will be right back. Alright, I'm back and fully copper eyeshadow here and fake lashes and all that stuff. But I still look kind of crazy because I just have foundation on and I don't have any concealer on, and obviously I haven't done any sort of contouring or lips or any of that. So I'm actually going to do a close-up view for you so you can see exactly what I'm doing, and plus my iPhone camera happens to be better than this camera. So let's see how that works, shall we? Okay, so before we get into the concealing, I'm gonna let you know and talk about a little bit of the concealers and stuff. So first of all, we have a color corrector, which you don't have to use, but you can. And this is what this looks like. It is yellow. Cool. So I'll show you what this looks like on. I'm just gonna put a little bit on. Whoop! Look at that, yellow. But does help. So I'm just gonna do this eye over here for now. And then what I like to do is go in, you can either use a beauty blender, this is a knockoff beauty blender and it's kind of dirty, I'm sorry about that. Or you can use the Morphe Y6 brush, which I love, and it's what I'm gonna use. So I'm just gonna stipple this a bit. And again, that yellow is gonna counteract the purple. Look at that. Do you see the automatic difference? It really does work. It really works. Next up, I'm gonna be using the Maybelline New York shade in Fair, and it's this stick. I used this for my last video to do my brows, but because I have this crazy shadow going on and right here is really dark, what I like to do with this is actually start up here and sort of outline the eye area to about 3/4 of the way. And then I can go back in and blend that out. Perfect. And now we get into the actual concealer. So I have a couple different ones. I use the Smashbox. This is the Studio Skin 24-hour waterproof concealer, and it is in the shade Fair/Light, and it is pretty yellow toned, if you can see how yellow toned that is. So when I put it on, I'm just gonna dab a little bit of it on here. And then again, I'm gonna go in with my Y6. And blend that out, and then sometimes I do like to go back in because this can actually get much closer up than the Y6 can. And then I just got this, so I'm kind of obsessed right now. This is the Tarte Shape Tape contour concealer in the shade Fair, but it is the yellow toned version of this. So it comes with, yeah, it's not as yellow toned as the Smashbox, to be honest with you. And this a little bit goes a long way. So I'm gonna go into a V because that's gonna highlight that area of the face, and you don't need a lot of this stuff. It's insanely full coverage.
Look how full coverage that is. It's beautiful.
And I think I'm gonna put just a little bit more right up around here and use my beauty blender to really get up to the eye there. And wow, look at the difference between those two eyes right now. It's pretty insane, right? So really what you want to use is some sort of yellow concealer or yellow color corrector. You don't need to put a ton of product on the under eye area. Just a little bit, because the more product you put, if you have wrinkles like me, the more those are going to show through. And then of course when you want to set your face and set this concealer, you can use a powder. I use the ColourPop No Filter Sheer Pressed Powder, and this is in the shade Light. It is a little bit darker for my skin tone, but because it's a sheer powder, it works pretty well. And that way you don't have that creasing as much, and it really sets everything in place. Alright, so let's go ahead and do the other eye here. I'm gonna go ahead and put powder and all of that stuff on, and I will be right back with the finished look for today. So as you can see, besides the shadow of the lashes and the brow bone that you can't really control, you can control the purpley color that happens when you're really tired, or maybe you were just born with it, like me. Just by using a yellow color corrector or a yellow toned concealer. And honestly, there are so many amazing brands out there that you could try for concealer. Tarte Cosmetics is fantastic, Smashbox, NARS. There's just so many out there that you could choose from, and I really hope that I have helped you out and that you can go ahead and make an informed decision on a concealer out there. So if you liked today's video, go ahead and leave a comment. What would you like to see next week? I might have another poll up on social media for next week's video, but I've got so much happening in this basics series that I'm going to be doing. So again, I really hope this was helpful for you, and I'll see you next week. Bye!